special memories and moments at Lipscomb and what it was like in McQuiddy and getting a chance to be in the program. They're going to knock down McQuiddy in April of 2000, and we thought one of the best things we could do for you and your kids and your grandkids, and just to let you have something to remember McQuiddy by. Beautiful bells going off there in the back, has a little sort of hidden significance. But I wanted you also to see the camp truck. Some of you guys weren't here when the truck was here. This is the official camp truck. A little trouble over here where a limb fell down one of the late storms here in Nashville. But I'll tell you, heck of a deal for us getting it for $1,500 from Billy Snell. He's still laughing. He got us on this one, but the camp truck's doing its job. Now this is the way McQuiddy looks now, but in the old days when I came here, there was a huge glass front, and it came out maybe, it was back further, I guess, and there was more parking lot up here. But that's where Joe Gaskins and all the guys from Hillsboro would break in. And then there was a concession stand out in the lobby that went the length of it. And a lot of the guys like Al, back in teens before then, you remember what it was like out there and running the concessions. And we'd always use the concessions to go to Hawaii in the old days before we just started doing it differently to get you guys over there. The concession stands, the girls that worked there, if Ralph was playing, they'd always be woken up when he was throwing passes off the baseline wall and it would hit it. But out here, when they had the old front, the year we started selling reserve seats, we had 100 people sleeping out here to get their reserve seats. Dandy Burton, who was like 80-something, was #1 in line. Mark French organized it all and made a list, or there'd been just pure chaos of people trying to get their tickets. My wife was 7, Francis Cooper was 8. 100 people slept out there to get those tickets. They used to, you remember when they used to come in and we'd shoot in the afternoon and people would come in and leave their coats and seats to reserve their seat, and then, they started losing their coats, so then they had to go to reserved seats to get it going. Let's go in and we'll look at some more stuff. The first time I saw this gym, it was obviously a lot different, but I just finished interviewing for the Lipscomb job, had signed a contract, and then sort of thought it might be good to see where we were playing, and walked in, and it sure looked a lot different than it does now. This thing out here is the thing that's got all the clippings and stuff on Hutch and John breaking the scoring record, and I'm sure there's probably many players who've sacrificed their entire careers so these two dorks could score that many points. But it's a tribute to the whole program that we had teams capable of doing this, and the style of the play and how hard those guys that played around these guys played. And obviously these guys are great players, and you guys knew it that we're playing with them, but I think it speaks well of what you guys did to help those guys score. Every postman knows that. When we first came to Lipscomb, there wasn't girls basketball, and we shared a gym with the high school. And they used to have high school playoff games in here, and they were playing 6-on-6 girls basketball, 3-on-3 half court. It would be packed to the gills in here, high school playoff games. Our college games, we wouldn't even pull a couple of those bleachers down there, and they were old bleachers. This is the second set of bleachers that's ever been in McQuiddy. And the side hoops were wooden, so after a couple camps, we donated that. There was like a 2-inch strip around here instead of this, and this was all put in later after camps got going and we got some money. We used to have those old bison mats that were wrestling mats that were on the walls that were just harder than concrete themselves. I don't know why, it could have been sued a million times. But then they eventually got these things and put them in. But I guess the thing that, we changed the banners up there instead of having individual banners, which we had hanging up all the way across. When Frank started winning a lot of games and the girls got really good and we needed to put theirs up, we eventually went to doing this, and ours are on the left, the girls are on the right. We had a lot of people saying we had too many banners hanging here and it hurt the lighting and they couldn't see the scoreboard and stuff like that. But I think the biggest game as far as number of people we ever had in here was the Trevecca game, couple Trevecca games where there were just people standing everywhere. Everybody thinks the Belmont thing was such a big deal, and it was, but the Trevecca thing, there was nothing like that as far as real excitement. I guess the Oral Roberts game, 138 to 130, was a pretty big deal. And then obviously we had games we were turning people away. We had, 16,000 at the Vanderbilt game when we played Belmont at Vanderbilt the first time. But I'd always like to think that we played hard whether there was 16,000 or 16. And we've had some 16 games in here, too, in McQuiddy. Some of the guys on the old teams can remember when he held the ball for 10 minutes and the students were trying to get active, so they were passing a beach ball around in the crowd, and they were really doing a better job of handling the ball than we were. Over here, we got Hutch and John's numbers retired and Coach Dugan's. And any of you guys that are local and you don't have something to do, you take Coach Dugan out to lunch, and he'd really appreciate it, because right now, anything he can do to visit with people, it's a real blessing for him, and it'd be a greater blessing for you. Let's look up here, Eric, underneath the scoreboard, and that's where the squirrel would always come in the fall. And when that dang squirrel was running around and he wasn't real active, we knew that we had to turn the heat up a little bit in the gym. You know, he was trying to just sort of take it easy. We had to screw it down a little bit and get a little tougher in practice. And, you know, and the practices, you know, I thought that was bigger for us really than the games. Like I guess the track meet practice we had the year we won it, when Bridges and Martello thought that, you know, they were going to run the bus, you know, going to drive the bus and do all the repair work. And we just had that day, we did an hour and a half of Chinese fire drills together. And then they but it didn't take very long. You know, it only lasted about a month or so. And then they came in with new suggestions that we weren't working hard enough. And then over here, I guess, is probably one of the classic moments in sport. And I don't know what team it was. Every player says it was his team. But we weren't doing things right in practice. I picked up a ball. I was going to punt it. And it's really slick over here. And I ended up falling on my butt. And people really couldn't laugh because they knew we'd be running more if we did. I guess that's probably the highlight of our practices here at Lipscomb, was that one. And we're gonna go over here, and this is, to me, a special area right here, because this is where Brent and Chad and Craig did all their work. And you can see the picture they got of Chuck. Brent's got a bunch of stuff up there way in the back. We can't get in here because we don't have keys to anything. But he's got a thing back there about the Belmont versus Lipscomb at Vanderbilt game. He's got a lot of great stuff. And Grant did such a good job of getting the kids to the game and promoting and keeping things going. Those guys were great. Let's go on down here, and we're going to look at the weight room, the team room. Right here, we got the be a practice player first thing. And, you know, they got that from Johnny Majors, and then the thing underneath it, properly and quickly execute the fundamentals of the game for the welfare of the team. And that's what we try to do, and that's what we wanted you guys to see every time. And if you're running a business, that's not such a bad idea. Okay, this is the weight room. In the old days, there was a big screen around it, and there was a swimming pool. And then I went over to Trevecca one night and saw they had a hitting room, so I mentioned that to Coach Dugan. So the next year, there was a hitting room next door here, and we had sort of a weight room here. Now, this is much improved. It's not like a lot of places with fancy stuff, but this is a big improvement. Now, in the early days, I can remember, I think the first guys that really got into lifting were in the early 80s, maybe, late 70s, early 80s, and guys would start to lift. Coach McCain got a Nollis, not a Nollis, but one of those universal machines. We put it in where the team room was now, and people kept breaking down the ceiling panels to get in there. So he had to take it down again. He took it apart and put it together 3 times, brought it in here and set it up, and this wasn't very much better as far as cleanliness. And everybody used it, and we bought it without any money in the budget and got chewed out for it, but we knew we'd never have weights here at Lipscomb, but we didn't. So it's sort of progressed from that, which was really crude, to this. We got some stuff from, I don't know if it's not Roy Orbison, one of those country music guys had some weight stuff we actually got out of his place. But this is, you know, we've really had it, and there's no doubt that right now with Coach Huddy, that like some of this stuff we got from Randy Nesbitt, the Positrack stuff, I mean, we've got some good stuff here, and the free weights and stuff, but a lot of you guys spent time in here, and a lot of you were great players because you spent the time in the weight room. Now, the training room, I think Coach Huddy opened that up so we can get in it, and it's changed a lot over the years, but guess we can't get in, huh, Hud? But the training room, I think the thing I remember most about the training room, and I wasn't there to witness it, but was when Coach Dugan captured Hutch in that headlock and had his championship ring and was working a noogie on his head. and really working on him because he thought he was fighting with somebody. They were jacking around, screwing around. Here's probably one of your most special places you've ever spent. The whirlpool that Chris Snoddy put in that it's not quite as active as it used to be. And then, of course, the shower. And, you spent some of your most friendly, intimate moments in this shower right here at Lipscomb. As you'll notice, it's only liquid soap, no bar soap, so guys would be having turnovers, dropping it on the floor, stuff like that. Then, we used to, in the old days, this used to be the basketball locker room, baseball locker room, and there were no walls here. There were just crude wood stuff. There was a screen here for the training room. But then they cleaned this stuff up, and we did this with lockers. And this is probably the cleanest this locker room's ever been, because there's nobody in it. But this was the deal right here. We always had these two signs. This is in the team room, and this is in here, and sort of sums up what we're trying to do. But we thought this was quite a deal when we did it, and it was sort of, we modeled it sort of after Kentucky stuff, but then as time went on, other people in our league got better stuff. Now back here's the real sweet place. This is the laundry room. The Sacks have spent time back here. Unbelievable. And then this is, coaches used to locker here, but we quit doing that after a while. I mean, coming down here, you'd fry down here, and this is just where they stored everything, and half the time it'd leak or problems back here. I guess that has a little more meaning to the Sacks and doing some of the laundry in camp in the early years and stuff like that. So now we're going to go to the team room, and I guess, Gary Dedman donated the carpet for the team room, and we got somebody, I don't know how we did the walls and stuff, but this thing was really in bad shape, and we put all this stuff up, and I think it sort of made it a pretty nice thing. The last few years, we've added more boards and stuff to write stuff on and do scouting stuff. But as Eric pans this thing, you can see, there wasn't a lot of room. We'd keep the Sacks over here, and then any coaches that would visit and come in would be over in this corner where the Sacks and the coaches all sat. And then we'd have players here. And we used this more for scouting the last few years and things we're trying to stress in practice. And of course, we had the TV here that get one stolen every third year by somebody in maintenance or somebody coming in off the street. So that was the deal. And, probably the big thing, I think, probably late 70s, early 80s, we made the big move, and that big move was to have Chuck give a pregame talk. And we started out with Alan Banks doing the speeches, and that was, I'll tell you, that was not very good speeches because Alan Banks is not real intelligent. But then we had Martello, and those are works of art. Then Dwayne Houston. And then it keep being passed on down from player to player, sort of a tradition, handing on the torch, so to speak, to light the way. And they would, that's just a little joke, an inside joke some of you will know. But Roast, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you fired up? You better be fired up. Now you better sprint down here. These guys are waiting for you. Now let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go, Chuck.
Let's go, Chuck. Let's go, Chuck. Fire it up.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get going in there. Don't run over Eric. Look out, Eric. Yes. Let's go. Did you shave?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you didn't. You haven't shaved in a month.
Haven't had many Saturday morning speeches.
Okay. Now, Chuck, just imagine in your mind that every bison that's ever heard a speech from you is sitting out there right now. Like there's Ernest back there, but it was really Willis.
Yeah.
And there's Willis, but it's really Ernest. Had a little trouble in those early years. Everybody looked the same to you, didn't they? And then in the front row, who else did he screw up where you couldn't know the names? Who are some of them you didn't know?
Could never get John Wild.
Could never, Wolfie.
That's right.
Wolfie, that's right. Well, I can understand, Now, anybody else you had trouble knowing their name?
What about Doug?
Yeah.
Rodriguez.
Doug, yeah, Chuck, you got to shave, my man. Are you running for a contest or something? Or what's it? No. Well, I notice the famous Chuck hairs, and some of you, I'm sure Chuck's on your list of what would you do for $1 million. Remember that? That's legendary. Okay, Chuck, the speech, where is it? You got to jump for it, buddy. Let's go get it. Let's get it.
Go.
One,
No.
two. Whoa! Okay, let's read it out, Chuck.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Chuck. Now you're ready for this one.
Now yell it out, Chuck, so people can hear it in television land.
May the 29th, 1999.
1999, Chuck.
Chuck.
Bisons versus Screaming Eagles. Hello, Bisons.
Shut up.
Hey. What kind of Screaming Eagles?
Right.
Bisons versus live Screaming Eagles.
Okay.
Hello, Bisons.
Shut up, Chuck.
The speech I give today will be one in the past. It is definitely not my first, and I hope it's not my last.
The speech I give today will be like ones in the past. It is definitely N-A-T-E-L-E-Y, not my first, and I hope not my last. I'm just reading this for you people out in television land. Okay.
The team room here still looks and smells the same, and I'll still hope I still know how to spell my name. Big A, little A, R-O-N.
Big A, little A, R-O-N. Keep going, Chuck.
Louder.
Big A, little A, R-O-N.
Yeah.
Big A, little A, R-O-n.
Big A, little A, R-O-N. Okay, now keep going with the speech.
The my Three Stooges noise are the same as the best. Make noise.
I think you may have forgotten a line, but that's okay.
And
Oh,
cough.
And my cough.
My cough still passed my test.
Any test.
Any test, Chuck.
Cough,
Any
Chuck.
coughs.
Cough.
Chuck.
Cough.
All right, baby.
My body is still filled with H's.
My body is still filled.
With H's.
Aches.
Aches. But there is no one thing
Hard for me.
hard for me to take. Uncle Don will be gone, and McQuiddy is going down, but I'm just wondering who will haul me around. The Titans are here, and the Predators too, but as you know, I'm still a sound
The whole.
the whole
Summer.
summer through. Just like me, you will be a bison as long as you are living, not just because of what you
Got.
got, because of
Of-
all you have given.
That was great, Chuck.
Ad lib, Chuck.
Ad lib, Chuck.
And live, Chuck, what we gotta do?
Gotta play defense.
Well, one thing, Chuck. These phrases. What's this one?
I'm tired of losing.
Well, did you remember when you said that one time we were 18-0?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How about this one?
A big A little A R-O-N.
Clap, Chuck, get it going.
Big A little A R-O-N.
Okay. What's this
The
one?
Dancing Bears.
And who are they?
Who was always the Dancing Bears, Chuck?
Who?
Yeah?
Who? They're from
Henderson,
Henderson, Tennessee.
Freed Hartman Dancing
Yeah.
Bears.
Yes. What's this?
Avenue Rex.
And the Durex.
And what does that mean?
Nobody.
Oh no.
What is this one?
Don't believe the hype.
The hype. What did you used to call it?
Hype.
Oh, you
Hippie.
hippie. What about this one? No, what about this one?
The roast.
Who's that?
Me.
Who's this?
Chuckles.
Who's that?
Me.
What about this?
I've got a toothache so bad.
And when did you say that?
When we beat them and beat them bad.
And who was that we beat and beat bad? Remember that time Martello yanked your tooth out
Yeah.
at Rockhurst before we played Emporia State?
Yes.
And what'd you say about the Hornets? Did you say something like, I got a horny ache so bad? Do you have to go up in front of church then?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what's this one, Chuck?
Beat them and beat them bad.
Okay, let's hear your ad lib, Chuck.
Tell these guys what you want to tell them, Chuck.
You got to play defense. You got to get your hands up on defense. You got to block out. You got to get good rebounds.
Hey, what's this?
And you got to rub the buckle.
Oh, the buckle? What is that?
The bison.
That's right. Not the big bison, though, huh?
Nope.
No.
Okay, Chuck, anything
Chuck,
you
is there anything you want to tell the guys now? This is your chance to say to all the guys what you think.
I think you guys played real good this year, and I'm hoping to have a good season this coming year.
All right.
We're going to miss Don and Jason,
But not Coach Huddy.
but not Coach Huddy. Because Coach Huddy's going to be here with us. We even going to miss Emily and Carmen.
Oh, well, that's nice. That's nice. Anything else?
Are Emily and
Any of
Carmen
the
staying
former
or not?
players?
We're going to
Any
miss
of the former players a long time ago.
Anything you got to say to the... We don't care. Hey, what is this?
sea dogs,
No?
sea hogs.
What is that? What are they?
I don't know.
Well,
Okay, anything you want to tell any of the former players? You want to tell them thanks for being nice to you? Or anything
Yes,
like that?
I want to thank Philip Hutchison being so nice to me, and Wade Thomason, even though his little boy died, and I'm sad about him. And I really like Wade, even Alan Banks and all of them,
Even out.
and Ricky Bowers too.
oh my, did you know Ricky Bowers has got braces now?
I didn't know that.
No, he does.
And even
And,
Mike Rowland.
and you're going to need them. You need braces if you don't start flossing your teeth. Now get flossing. Okay.
Even Ernest and all of them. And all the players that were here this year, I'm going to miss them all.
Anything else, buddy?
But I'm hoping that Adam will come back here.
I don't think so, but that's a good one. Anything else, buddy?
And I'm going to miss Herman that used to play because he was a good friend.
Well,
Okay, what else, Chuck? Anything else?
Even going to miss Don and Jason.
Okay, good. Anything? You got anything else for us, buddy?
Even going to miss Andy Lane, Coach Lane.
Yeah? Okay, we're going into other sports now. That's good. Hey,
why don't you rub the buckle for him
yeah,
one good
rub the
time?
buckle one more time.
Yes.
Okay. And
Let's
then rub
stack it up.
Coach's head. Rub
Let's
Coach's head.
rub my head. There you go, buddy.
All right, now
Okay, let's stack it up, bud. Let's go.
Stack it up. Let's go.
Count it,
Get
Chuck.
Coach
Count
in.
it. Oh, I'm sorry.
in.
Count it up.
You count down.
1, 2, 3. Team.
Okay,
All right,
Chuck.
buddy.
Okay, we're good, buddy. Okay, it's going to be hard to progress from there. Let's go on up, Eric. Eric, this is the outdoor court area, the slab where we use for this area for camp with the younger kids. Frank Bennett, the slab master, would have them right here. We'd put them in shirts, and then we use this driveway down here to put portable hoops, and it'd be sort of shaded during the day. Now, if you look over there where those 3 trees are diagonally, that's where we used to have permanent hoops, 4 of them. 2 of them were 9-foot goals. All the older guys would try to dunk on them, get hurt. And then we had some 10-foot goals, and then we'd put some portables in, but there's a cage over there, the squirrel. They'd put the squirreliest camper in the cage. It's just a sewage drain or whatever, a water drain, and they'd stick them down in there, and squirrels would be knocking acorns down on them, and pigeons would be swooping over, and a lot of stuff like the magic word. All the young kids started here. Wade, I think, started on the outdoor courts when he was a camper, and we made all the guys that worked, that were our players that we recruited, they had to work the outdoor courts with Frank first. Some of them never progressed past that, but it was a badge of honor to work the slab. Let's go on up to Burton now and see the next area. Okay, Eric, this is Burton Gym. We used to have hoops back here on the back end that guys would actually practice on. Some old hoops that were put there for kids to play on. They weren't great, but they were okay. And then when they made the new additions to the high school, that went. But John unlocked Burton, so we'll go in. Okay, Eric, this sort of looks like a dungeon, but we'd throw balls down here, and if a kid wasn't doing drills very well, we'd throw him down here to work on his attitude, get his clinic fundamentals down. Then up here, the water fountain's sort of been ripped off. You can hear the sound of the fan that doesn't want to run. Heater's probably on. There's no lights in Burton now. The paint that's chipped off, the only rule for the kids was don't eat the paint chips. But the paint would chip off and fall on the floor. And the rims obviously take a beating. They used to play college basketball in here. It was one of the first gyms in Tennessee. And we always told the kids this was the original birthplace of basketball, and it was just moved from Springfield, Massachusetts down here. This used to be glass boards. Guys would dunk, like we've had Issel in here, Isaiah Thomas, all of our pros, we try to bring them in here and let them dunk in Burton. There was a rope that would hang from here. Guys would grab it and dunk, grabbing the rope. There was a mat over here that they would run up and then dunk running up the mat. Horse with a mustache. You can see the supports for the horse with the mustache. They duct taped it up or something, but they took it down. And there was a painting up here of a Mustang that had a mustache on it. Vlasin, Ron Vlasin from Colorado, has won 9 state championships. He ran this gym, and he had his guys bring a big bulletin board in for William James Day on Tuesday that had all kinds of horse drawings on it, and that sort of started the wall of fame, wall of shame on the drawings. Most of the guys wanted to have bad drawings. They'd draw as bad a horse as they could so they could make the wall of shame. But one year, one kid really wanted to make the wall of fame, got put on the wall of shame. We had some problems with that with the parents, so we had to disperse with the wall of fame, wall of shame. Sort of like the non-graded schools, you know. We had to make a concession to be politically correct. But the floor, you can see where they put some new wood in here. Maybe it's old wood, but just a little different. This is the little guys that play their games in here, and these are instead of having mats now, we just have nails to hang campers up on. Camper's not working good, you just hang him by his jersey up there and talk to him. A lot of good players went through Burton Gym, and we don't use it much now unless it's raining or something, but it was a heck of a place. There was a lot of fun groups in here. I told my best jokes in here right at center court. This group seemed to like the jokes better than anybody else. In fact, if you got some time, I could tell you some. Why'd the chicken go to the other side of the playground? He wanted to get to the other slide. You know, why'd the chicken cross the road? The referee called, or why'd the chicken cross the basketball court? The referee called a foul. You know, stuff like that. This is going to be torn down, and they're going to put up a multi-purpose facility here, supposedly. But I don't think anything could have more multi-purposes than Burton Gym has served over the years. Yeah, that's a porch, Eric, where we'd eat lunch when we had day camp at noon, and the Nicholases would always, they used to bring food over all the time. They sort of quit doing that now, but they'd bring a bunch of food over. It was unbelievable. And we'd just sit there, and during the kids would have their lunch break in Acuff Chapel, and we'd sit over there and eat. Now this is the high school gym, and it's really changed a lot because they brought the lobby out. It used to be back in further, and it's really dressed up, so it's not going to look the same to the guys. Coach Huddy's got everything open here. He's been trying to rip off stuff while he's here. Yeah, this is the lobby area is a lot different. It used to have a concession stand right here where this trophy case is, and that was where everybody had to say Pepsi please or they wouldn't get anything. Everybody had to use please and thank you. Cheryl and Carol running concessions were pretty tough about that. And then now it's set up with the concessions here and everything, but the high schools had unbelievable programs, men's and women's both, and you can see all the trophies and stuff they got up out here. And then the gym area in here has really been dressed up. That area down there was closed, and we had a big Mustang down there, and that's where the kids had set their lunches during day camp. And then we had old bleachers over here on the side, but this is where we played the Rollo Classics. Only time we didn't was last year in '98 when we couldn't use this because they were building the auxiliary gym back here and we couldn't get in. And then the other time we didn't was when Craig Jackson broke a backboard dunking in a pre-Rollo in the dunk contest. But there have been some really great games in the middle of the summer here with this gym packed for the Rollo Classic. Heck of a deal, and really, it was good basketball. Our guys, I thought, played as hard in the middle of summer as most teams did in the national tournament. Eric, this is a shirt room, and we just store everything in here for camp. We got an attic area that's got all the balls and stuff, but these are all leftover shirts from last summer's camp, and then we've got camp shirts coming in from Greg Eubanks. Up here's hats, and these are shorts and other junk, but all this stuff's going to be filled with shirts for each one of the sessions. And the Sacks spend all their time out here, it seems like, in the summer, so that's why we're in here. But the student assistant coaches set up everything, and they do the laundry. They teach at gyms, in gyms, and run the front desk and try to coexist with Barb. You know, that's a very tough task. Seth has sort of hung in there. Jason Piercy over the years, and different guys. And then this is home and house lobby. It used to be we had almost all of this, and then security came over. But we've got the attic up here where we got everything from camp, and the guys can remember moving balls up here and sweating like pigs up there because it gets really hot. Now we're going into Jason's office, and his is a little messy right now because we got camp coming up, and he's a big recycler. But this is like equipment, shorts and shirts for next year's team and stuff. And he's the guy that keeps everything on the computer that makes it really go. He's got some of his plaques, all the plaques from the years he played or coached here. And then just other stuff. Big Mark McGuire fan, and Barb's a big Rodman fan, but Jason's a little more of a McGuire fan than that. And this a picture he's got of Philip, Wade, Darren, Marcus, and could look like Richard Taylor, but that's really Wade, you know, down there. But that's where he sets all his stuff up. We started doing some of these posters that were pretty good. I think it's the first one we did with the heavy metal group, and that was, I don't know what team that was. I think that's a team, that could have been the 41-5 team on that one. And then back in here is a tape room, and we just put a few of the tapes here, but this is where Jason packages all the tapes and stuff. Danita's office was right over here. She took down her big poster of Peyton Manning, full-size, life-size poster of Peyton Manning, I think, when he lost that last playoff game against Nebraska. But and then John worked out of here. And here, of course, we got John's, you know, Al Sharp always loved this, the 1965 Impala memorabilia, and his marriage, and his wore his Pirates hat when he got married. And John was a sack on the first team that we had that won it, and then has been with a bunch of different, you know, championship football and basketball teams in high school. But he's organized. He's the only one of the coaches that's organized. And we keep all the game tapes here and tapes for coaches to watch when they'd come in, and stuff we would mail out to coaches when they'd write and stuff. But there's a lot of work done in these two offices because of so much stuff done in a small area. Now, we don't want to really look at this too hard. This is my office. There's a lot. It's a good thing I'm probably getting a new job, because that way we can just get this stuff out of here rather than try to straighten it up or clean it up. But a lot of camp junk in there. It sort of seems as you get older, it doesn't get clean as much. A lot of these are plaques of all the guys that made All-American. I think we've had something like 22 All-Americans, 3 Players of the Year, 2 GTE Academic Players of the Year, and just a bunch of different plaques that are set up that we'd get from those people. Now, this stuff in here is pretty interesting, because when you come into Barb's office area, if you start over here, we didn't make a picture plaque of the first team we had. We didn't know how to do it, but that's the second team at Lipscomb that was here, and then we just go all the way around the top there if you pan it, and you should have 23 of the teams that were at Lipscomb. Then we got this from Tommy Speak's dad sent us this, and we had that, I don't know how many, it's just a thing, 5 wolves, and the idea of unity, and the idea of the strength in the pack, and the strength of the packs and the wolf. You know, strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack's the wolf. This came from Jerry Todd's wife. She sent us this poem, and I think it says a lot about Bison basketball and what we tried to do. These are insufficient fund camp checks, if you want to zero in on those names so people can be looking for them for us. These are some more of those poster ideas, and Brent and Chad and Craig did a lot with those later on as it went on. This is a collage of the team that won it. This is Barb's favorite thing from the Wooden Book. This is the thing I think that Paul Nance or somebody did for the 4 seniors on those teams that won a lot of games. This is a picture of John, Tracy, Jerry, Ralph, and some other people at playing against Trebek, I think it is in a big game. Another poster, national championship, the year we won it, the marching and halftime thing. Here's some clippings off of this is the mantle right in front of Barb's desk, where it's got some of the clippings, the championship team, that article that was in Sports Illustrated, national championship program autographed by the team the year they won it. Picture of John Wooden, the Wooden book. Emily and Sarah with Sierra at the games. This is our guys in Hawaii, I think. One time we beat BYU Hawaii over there. This is a banquet with all the guys with Barb. Championship team, the roast, back here behind. He's a #1 fan. And thing from Tubby Smith. But just a lot of junk up here. This is guys doing Special Olympics in Tulsa before the tournament. And then the idea, everything we based it on, a team attitude. And then Barb did scrapbooks of all the teams and leaves them out laying around. Now there's badges for Academy and stuff like that. But I guess the last thing we're coming to is over here. And here's the 2 fattest 3 men that ever played college basketball. And he's selling for Merck now. And he's running Sam's or Walmart in Huntsville and sort of owns Huntsville. This is probably the most disgusting picture I've ever seen in my life. Some of our sacks and Coach Shelton. Here's some of the, Pat and his wife Charity, guys stacking it up, just players, kids. This is a team that shaved their heads to show unity, and I had to shave mine because of that too. This is Chuck falling asleep. This is Chuck tickling me in the armpit. This is Billy Mooney coming in from a drunken stupor. Not really, not really. This is me trying to grow bison hair. Robert Sane and his kid, Andy Blackston when he was about 2 years old. But this is just Barb's thing, and she's going to take that, obviously, when she goes and leaves. This is Dwayne Houston and his family, Yubi's kid. This is Martello's kid with the Lipscomb shoes. He got that. Probably stole the ball and the shoes. This is Al. This is pretty disgusting, this picture here. This has been put in different scouting reports here and there. When he'd open up his notebook, there'd be a picture like that. This is Sierra. Jamie, who's working in the boys club in Huntsville now. There's a lot of memories on that. Rod's playing overseas, his picture, playing in Germany, and I think he's in Italy now. Then over here, Darren is still playing pro ball, and this is a picture of him when he's playing on one of the teams that went in the Foreign Cup. And this is John, a picture of John at the national tournament. And Barb's favorite picture of Rodman, of course. But I guess that gets to the last thing, and if you want to just sit here, I want to talk to these guys a little bit, and then that'll wrap this thing up. I guess the thing that, you guys all know that I'm going to be hopefully working somewhere different next year. And if you're driving down the road and you see a Captain D's, you might want to stop in there and see if I'm there. If they don't take coupons, then it's probably not going to be me eating there. If you ever do, when I know where I am and you know where I am, if you come by, I'd be the proudest guy in the world to show you off to our guys that are playing for me and say that you were a guy that played for us at Lipscomb. And you guys don't know the pride that the people that worked in this program have for you. The reason I'm the only one talking is Jason and John felt that they hadn't been with everybody. Danita had only been with a few people. And the reason Barb's not here is because she just couldn't talk to you. She wouldn't be able to talk without just crying her head off, and because you guys all mean so much to her. And I hope that people like that you'll always remember how interested they were in you as people, not just players. That they had an interest in you as a person. And that's why you have stuff like this with the kids and with pictures of you, because the memories are the only thing you can keep, and the moments that made those memories so special to you, don't let them go. And sometimes it was big wins, big games. Sometimes it was tough practices. Sometimes it was a guy that just said the absolute stupidest thing in a team meeting and made us all laugh. Sometimes it was just really going through tough times together. I'm really proud of the guys I see starting families and how important their kids are to them. Last night I spent about 3 hours at Brian Ayers' house with him and Walt's wife and Brian's wife and young son Taylor. And it just makes me so proud to see you guys starting families and seeing how much you care about your family. And I hope Bison basketball had something to do with your attitude of being a team and caring about each other. But I think the biggest thing is the idea of helping each other. You know, the idea with the Wolves. Wolves will take like 6 months and just be despondent, depressed, do nothing because someone in the pack died. And then they can be the most happy, jovial things in the world when things are going well. They're killing all the deer, things are flowing just right. And I think that's sort of the way it is in a good program. And, you know, I hate to make note of this, but I don't think I've ever been prouder of our program than when Wade had to go through what he went through just a few weeks ago. And there were so many players that came and so many players that showed up to support him. Not guys just off his own team, but guys like Thomas Lanier and Tracy Sales and Richard Taylor and guys that didn't even play on his teams but just had so much respect for him. And it just means a lot to have a team where everybody cares about each other. And obviously a guy like Wade, he was always there for everybody on his team, so it's only fair he gets that kind of thing. I guess the reason I coached basketball at Lipscomb and the way we did it, I'm sort of like Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight was the worst defensive player that ever played basketball at Ohio State, and that's why he always emphasized defense so much. And I always emphasize team because I'm probably the most selfish person in the world. But being around you guys when you were giving and when you were trying to help each other, it sort of made me be a little bit better person. And I hope that you'll have that kind of attitude and you'll try to foster that idea of giving, because the only way you're going to win is by giving. Nobody ever wins anything by taking and using people and tromping on them. You got to try to bring people up, build them up, and you got to give. And then the last thing, you know, I think don't feel like you have to win a championship to be a champion. You don't have to win a championship to be a champion. All you got to do is give that effort. And I always felt about our teams, you know, I thought in the early years we copied a lot of people. We used things from Indiana, Duke, North Carolina, Dick Mata, different people. But I felt as our program developed, people copied us, and people wanted to play the game like Lipscomb played it. And it was because of the way you guys went about it, whether it was starting your shot, doing the shooting progression, getting right under the hoop and working your way out. We were the program that everybody wanted to really be like because of the way you guys were and the way you played and the way you cared about each other. And I think that the thing that, to me, is the really big thing is I always felt with the kind of kids we had that even when we lost, we won. And that's something for you to think about. So what we're doing here is just something for you to have, for your family, for you to show people, to show them where you came from and what made you part of what you are in your life. And we're going to stop with a song here, no invitation, no nothing like that, but just something for you to remember what McQuiddy was like. And then we're going to tack some footage on the end of it, some TV footage we were able to get of different games for you to look at and to enjoy. But there's no way, you know, they say the greatest feelings are expressed in silence. There's no way I can tell you guys how I feel about you. All the other coaches, Barb, everybody else, there's no way that we can ever tell you how much we appreciate everything you did and what a big part you were of our lives. And this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of something new for us. And you need to look at it that way too. And you need to support Lipscomb Athletics and make sure they're doing things right and stay on top of it. And you be the same kind of guy you were when I was here and when everybody else was here. You try to support things and make it the best that it can be.